Hi everyone, this is Grace of GB Maltese, and I thought I'd do a little bit of diamond painting with you, and you join me. Work on whatever craft it is that you like to work on, and I'm going to talk about this first, and then I'll share my story of the fun week we had last week with the plumbing. I can look on it now and chuckle a little bit about it, but it wasn't funny at the time. Anyway, first of all, I am working on my Dreamer designs today. Anxious to see how this is going to look when it's finished. If you saw where I had kitted this up, I showed a video on my Dreamer designs. And I showed a video showing when I unboxed it. And today, at this moment, I'm going to be working on these. They're pink, upside down, pink Ys. And as you can see, they're not pink in the box. They are a brown. So the colors that you're seeing here are going to be different drills. So it's going to look different. So when I first looked at it, I'm like, oh, pink on the beach. Interesting. And it could be if it was, some art is like that. But I want you to just kind of look at these, even though this is just a brown color. Look at the shine on these. I think they're gorgeous. And these are squares, they're not rounds. I just really am appreciating the shine on these square drills. So, I'm going to be using, probably interchanging between these two pens. I'll put a link below. This comes from a Facebook group. And now I found out there are more than one Facebook group that are selling these types of pens. So, if you go on Facebook and you type in handmade diamond painting pens, there are 4 or 5 different groups. So, I've joined a couple other groups because I would like to get a couple more of these just because they are comfortable. This one is wood. This one is acrylic. The wood is much lighter. So I just kind of go back and forth in between using them. I think I'm going to start with my acrylic blue. I love blue. Isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, I'm going to start working on this. I have already loaded, and as you can see, it has a tip on both ends. And you can get a single tip on one end. You can get a triple tip on this end, or you can get 6 or 9. They have choices, and one group even offers you to get on one end a straightener. It looks kind of like a little spatula that you can go through and straighten. And I might try that. I've never used a straightener before, but I might. And then this one I did is, this one is red cedar. Just beautiful. Again, I got just single tips because that's normally what I use. Because as I've told you before, I'm not in a race in doing this. So I'm going to go through, and I showed you how I do the checkerboard method when I am using when I'm doing squares especially. It kind of breaks up the monotony, and it is easier to straighten them out. So it would be very difficult to try to use a 3-placer or any other size when you're doing it this way. But I enjoy doing it this way. Everyone does it different, but this is probably my favorite way to do the squares. So, well, what are you guys working on today? I hope you have been had a uneventful last week and a half, since it's been about that long since I have spoken with you. I am so sorry I had to cancel my live. I'm hoping maybe next week I can do a live. This week, still trying to get things back into place from all of the stuff last week. It was quite an event, and I will tell you that story in just a minute. As I said, I usually like to use the pink wax, as I've said before. And when I'm going along, sometimes I'll notice it'll look like a little hair sticking out. It's the wax. And I will just take my hand and just roll around the rim to get it off, to keep it from sticking to my drills. I'll do a video if you'd like on, I have almost any kind of sticky tack that you can think of, but I seem to always come back to the pink wax. But I can do a video on all the different kinds that I have, and you can, and I can tell you why I've chosen this. One of the main reasons is because I find it cleaner. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to get the drills as messy looking. But you can wipe it off. I mean, it's no big deal. Everybody uses, it's kind of like any art or hobby that you do. Everybody finds their way that is the most comfortable for them, and then that's the way they do it. Oh my goodness. My dog, Bogey, has pushed the door open and come in. We're going to hope that he does not decide to start getting rambunctious and start yapping at everything. He usually only does it if he hears the other dogs in the other room. And today, I don't think I've mentioned this, I'm not using my light board today. I have it set up in the other room, working on something else for someone. And I'm using a light, a very bright light. It's very old. It was my dad's. I think he was a CPA, and it's quite bright, as you can probably tell. So I don't need it. I also am wearing my reading glasses over the top because I'm not leaning in as, I don't have it in positioned as I could do it if I wasn't doing this on camera. And when I'm using the light board, I don't need them at all. I don't need the reading glasses. But sometimes it depends. My allergies are one of the worst that it has been in a while. The pollen level is ridiculous. I live in the deep east piney woods of Texas, and the pollen coming off those pine trees is ridiculous. It's all over the cars. Everything looks yellow. So yeah, it's going to cause me to have watery eyes. Even though I take my medication, it's still causing some headaches and other fun things that come along with that. Any of you suffering from allergies at this point? I'm sure it's all over the country with all the trees. Well, maybe not as much up north, but we have some trees that are budding out because it is warming up much more today. We're going to be probably 71, the high, 72, somewhere around there. So I'm sure for some of you that are up north, that feels wonderful. And it does feel wonderful here because in the summertime, we many times get up into the hundreds, or 98, 99. That's very common. And then getting up to 103, 104, that's just plain miserable. And it's very, very humid where I live, so it just makes it even more wonderful. I guess that's the reason down in the south you normally do not find anyone who does not have air conditioning. It would be very difficult to try to make it without it. It's so hot, and the humidity makes it so much worse because you just sweat when you walk out the door. Ugh. So, okay, well, let's get on to my story about our plumbing problems last week, because some of you noticed that I had to cancel my live, and I do hope I can do one next week, and not have any more problems with anything. That is my hope. Anyway, this is how it all started. On the weekend, not this past one, but the weekend before, we started noticing that the toilets and the sinks both were making this weird noise. Wonk, wonk, wonk. So my husband said, I think that it may be the septic system. Okay, now those of you who do not live in the country may not know what a septic system is. When you live in the country, you have to take care of your waste products that come from the bathroom into a septic system. And what that involves is they dig this huge hole, and they put 2 large 500-gallon tanks in the ground. And those are connected by pipes. And these pipes run all along through your property to take the water, like from flushing the toilets. The waste and paper will stay in the tank. That isn't going to flow out. But the water, there's got to be a way for that water to go on, or you'd fill that tank up in no time. So my husband and I were both under the impression that we only had one tank in this system. And we weren't here when the house was built, so we thought there was just one tank. And what was funny is we added a room on to the back of this house, and there was a white pipe, and it had a lid. You have what you call it's to drain it, or, well, actually what they do is a big truck comes out and sucks out your septic tanks. Yeah, because they will eventually fill up, and you have to have them cleaned out. So my husband says, okay, well, there it is. Easy enough. I'm going to go ahead and dig it up and make sure that's the right spot. So he did. He dug at 4 feet or more. Dug and dug and dug, and I was thinking, I'm never going to get there. They're not supposed to be that far down, your septic tanks and where the drain plug is. So he just kept digging. Okay, he got to the end of that white PVC pipe, about 4-inch diameter. And what he found were the drain lines. And they're bigger, and they have holes in the bottom so that the water that passes through those, it goes through your property, can empty out into the ground. There's no waste in there. There's just the water. Okay, well, he gets that. And that pipe that's been sticking up out of the ground all this time led to nothing. He pulled it out. It was not attached to anything. So, great. Yeah, that was not a drain plug. And we had already called the guy to come and suck out the one septic tank. Okay, he comes out there, and no, that's not it. We're going, this is great. Where's the septic tank? Yeah, we couldn't find it. They took these long metal rods, real long, and they're pointy on the ends, have a nice point on the end, and they stick that in the ground, poking and poking and poking and poking, trying to find something solid in the ground, which would either be the septic line or the septic tank itself, because those are made out of concrete. Huge metal concrete tanks. So they went around sticking it into the ground. Nothing. They find nothing. I'm quite upset at this point because we had to stop taking showers. We could do number 1, but don't put any paper into the toilet during this period of time, because every so often it would leak down enough where you could get maybe 1 flush in during the day. If you had to poop, you had to go somewhere else. Well, my brother lives about 100 yards from where I live, so I knew I could go over there. Well, you hate having to go to someone's house to go, can I come poop in your toilet? So I was holding it as much as I could through this time. Don't do that. I'll explain to you why in a moment. So they didn't find it. we call someone out the next day, and we tell them we can't find our septic tank. Well, in the meantime, Jerry he had a little bitty short metal thing, because we didn't have one of those things, and we couldn't find any place to even buy one. So he was going around poking. He and I both had spent the day. I had my shoes off, and I was just kind of scratching around the surface of the ground trying to find some kind of a plug. And we have a couple of acres, and where our house is, we have more in the back. But I was walking around, and I was getting attacked by ants. And when ants bite me, I get huge blisters on my feet. So, yeah, by the time I came in, mind you, I couldn't take a shower at my house. I did go later to my brother's once I'd finished towing around as much as I could. Yeah, and once I had my feet all cleaned up, I had blisters all over, especially my right foot, all over my toes, and partially on the top of my foot. It looked lovely. So, we're thinking, great. Well, my husband finally, he was sticking around in a place. We have a carport. And the carport, our ground is uneven. So one part of the carport, the concrete is maybe 2 to 3 feet at the back end that faces the back of the house. And then the carport gets, of course, it goes down because it's not as much it's a little more level. All right. Well, finally he found the septic tank. And it was to the back of the carport. He dug out a little bit, and there it was. And I started crying. I'm so happy. I'm like, oh, thank God we found it. And I was just so thrilled, and I said, what if it's a pot of gold? And my husband said, I'd rather it be the septic tank at this point than a pot of gold. And I would too, believe me. At that point, all you want to be able to do is, use your bathroom and take your shower or your bath or whatever. So we called someone out, and they said they would come out, and they started digging. Okay. They came out with a backhoe and dug up our yard. Yeah, it looks real nice. We had that tank emptied. I'm getting ahead of myself. The whole week was crazy. We had that one tank emptied. We did. Once we found that one, Jerry dug out enough where he found the plug on top of the tank. It sticks up, and they stick a tube down in there and suck. Yeah, they suck it all out, all the waste out. And my husband was at work, and so I was there. And let me tell you, when they took the lid off that septic tank, I came in the house. I don't know how they could stand it. I don't know how they go to work without wearing a mask. The smell was unbelievable. I'm just like, there's no way I'll be eating today. It was several hours before I got over that. And they sucked it out. So we were so happy. We're like, oh, right now we can take our showers and, do what we needed to do. Okay, Jerry got in the shower and was taking a shower. I hadn't done number 2, I'll say. I had gone to my brother's that morning because I couldn't wait. This is the bad part about having to use someone else's bathroom, is that my brother doesn't get up till around 12 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. They'll stay up late watching movies or whatever. Well, it was about, I'm up earlier, of course. It was about 10 o'clock, and I was so miserable because I'd been holding it for a while. I was so miserable, I was almost shaking because I could feel this weight in my belly, my lower belly, and yeah, it wasn't going away, and it started making me feel nauseated and sick, and I'm like, oh my God, I have got to go to the bathroom. I texted my brother. I didn't get an answer. I'm figuring, well, I knew he wasn't awake, but that didn't wake him up. So I called him, and I said, can I please come and take a poop at y'all's house. I mean, I was desperate. And he said, yeah, I'll unlock the door, and I'll go back to bed. So he unlocked the door. We used to have the code. He has a code you have to, to get into his house. Well, he's changed the code, and he hasn't divulged that information to us as yet. Like, I'm going to go steal. I think he just has forgotten. He has keys to our house. Anyway, I went in there and took care of business. And then that afternoon they came, and that's when they got everything sucked out or whatever. Okay, and that night, Jerry, I said, yeah, you can come home and take a shower, and we can just relax. Oh, no. Jerry got in the shower. As he was taking a shower, the water kept coming up on his feet. It was just clear water at that point, okay? It was just clear. We didn't have any poop backing up. And he's yelling at me, Grace, come here. And we had a tiny wetback. My brother had a bigger one. We borrowed his. Bring the wetback. I come running in there. And, yeah, we had thrown towels where we could, and that wasn't going to do any good. So we wetbacked it. Got all the water up. Yeah, the story goes on. So Jerry's thinking, I have got to do something. I can't stand this. I don't know. We didn't know where it was still stopped up. We had no idea. So Jerry went to Lowe's and bought some different things to help unstop clogs. And my brother, he was an electrician at one time, and he had done some construction work, so he knew a little bit. And he told Jerry to get this thing, some kind of bag, I don't know what it was, and what you do is you attach it to a water hose and you stick it down into your pipe. You stick it on down in there and you turn the water hose on. Well, I'm outside. Jerry has stuck this bag, it's called a bladder. He stuck that bladder down into the hole in the shower. He'd taken the thing off and he turns it on. And he said, okay, turn the water on. I turned it on just a little to start with. And then he says, okay, turn it up more. So I did. And then he said, okay, full blast. So I had the water going full blast. And then he said, okay, turn it off a minute. Let me see if it's done anything. Well, he thought that maybe it had drained down a little bit. It looked lower in the shower because we were looking in the shower sink. I was outside this whole time. He said, okay, turn it back on. So I turned it back on. I went ahead and turned it full blast like he wanted. The next thing I hear, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Okay, I can laugh now. It wasn't funny then. Jerry had taken the commode off to run things down into the hole where the commode sits. Well, water had backed up out of that hole all over the bathroom floor. And during the time that he'd been messing around in the shower, the floor got flooded again. So, yeah, we're in there with the wetback again. So, that did not work. So, he thought, okay, he got a plunger, and he started plunging in the shower, plunging in that hole. And he'd stop. And it would go down just a little bit, and then it wouldn't come back. The water would come back up where the hole in the toilet was. We were watching it real close then. Plunge again. To tell you, it was getting ridiculous. Okay. Then I said, I wonder, I don't know, for some reason we decided we better go check the bathroom on the other side of the house. And we did. Oh, yeah. It was worse. This was the worst of all of it. There was, in that bathtub, the sewage had backed up, and there was poop in the bathtub where he had been plunging, and where it was stopped, yeah, it ran up into the bathtub. Oh, my Lord. Okay, like I said, I can laugh now. I was almost in tears. with all this stuff going on. So we get that cleaned out. Thank the Lord, it went down. We put antibacterial stuff. I cleaned it much better later when we got everything finally fixed. So, yeah, we didn't plunge anymore. In fact, we didn't do anything. We did try some Drano. I said, well, try some Drano. I mean, we've done everything else. So, he did, and the Drano didn't do anything. We ran hot water in there. It didn't going to clean that kind of a clog. We didn't know what we were dealing with. So, we've had 2 different people out. This time, we called this guy who, he has a special tool. Okay, it's on this huge round thing, and he runs like a tube, and it's got a camera on the end of it. Well, he runs that tube down through the pipes. He ran it through the toilet. Jerry just left it off, thank goodness. He ran it down through that toilet, and when it stopped, he couldn't push any further. He got this little other tool that looks kind of like a Geiger counter. I don't know what a Geiger counter looks like. It had this little round tube on the end, and he held it. Well, he went outside with it, and it started making beeping sounds. And when he got close to where that pipe had run, it really was making a different sound. So he just followed along that pipe. He found exactly where the pipe came from out of the house. Yeah, they'd looked for that too, so we could maybe drain it from there. Well, he found it. And when they dug that up, the drain plug was on there crooked. It was sideways, whoever did it. I'm like, oh, good gracious. Then he went along the carport, and lo and behold, there was another septic tank. And it was partially under the carport. Okay, so that was good news that he found it. The bad news was we weren't sure if we were going to have that carport dug up. Money signs are just rolling, you know. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to dig through there. So Jerry, bless his heart, he went out and he dug until he found it. And he found that the lid of the septic tank came out, maybe 1.5 to 2 feet, that side, and the rest of it was underneath the concrete of the carport. And Jerry dug a hole down, even up underneath the concrete, and he found the drain plug. So we're thinking, okay, we've had three days and 3 different people come out. So that was on a Friday. Yeah, we still had nothing. Still going to my brother's. Well, no, actually, I'm lying. Friday, that one guy that had the special machine, he was able to get it kind of unstuck. So we were able to take a very quick shower and use the bathroom. He just said, you need to get it sucked out. On Saturday morning, this guy came out. Jerry knows a lot of people around here, and he did come out, and he does work on Saturday, but he came to us first. And they were able to get the hose. He had to use a different kind of a hose to get up through and down into that hole where the plug was, where you uncap it and plug it. I stayed in the house. I had already witnessed the smell of that. Jerry stayed right out there with him, and I said, how did you do it? But he stayed out there, and it took a lot longer for them to suck that one out. I thought the first one was, pretty quick. So they got that all sucked out, and we're back in business. I have cleaned that tub, I couldn't tell you how many times now. Yeah, with any and everything you can imagine, because that was so disgusting. Of course, threw the shower curtain away. I've got a real pretty one ordered. It's supposed to come today, so I'm able to put that up. It's it's kind of a zen with bamboo. And it looks kind of like a spa. It is just, I'm like, okay, I found that one. I'm like, oh, that looks so relaxing. And I got other things to go with it. Anyway, that was the wonderful story. I probably have left some things out, but those are kind of the highlights that I can remember. I think that my brain just kind of tried to block some of that information out. It was so... I'm moving my tray over here before I shake it. I don't want to get it onto the sticky part. I think your brain tries to block some of that memory out. But yeah, it was a real treat, and our marriage lasted through that, through poop and all. There were some days. Oh, and I forgot about this. Jerry said, go ahead and just order a potty chair. You know, like older people would use when they're not able to, you know, but at night, maybe can't walk too far. So anyway, we've got one just in case. I'll tell you what. Jerry said he would just dig a hole and dump it out in there. And I was thinking, because my dogs, I have, the dogs go in and out the doggy door, but we close the door at night. And I have puppy pads that they use. But they're not really puppy pads. They're people, because they're bigger and they're cheaper than buying puppy pads. And they will use that in case of an emergency. So I was thinking, shoot, I'll just put one of those things in that potty chair, and then I can just pick it up and take it out there and dump it into the hole or whatever. But Jerry was, he thought he was real funny too. He came in after the guy had sucked everything out, and I said, well, they think I got it all? And he said, yeah. And he said, but they did say for us not to use toilet paper in there or conditioner in our hair. I gave him a look and I said, you're lying. I know that's a lie. I said, we've been using toilet paper and conditioner in that tank for years. No problems. Yeah, he was giving... Jerry's a jokester. He really likes to give it to me whenever he can. Because, yeah, I said, okay, you don't have much hair. You don't have to put any conditioner in yours. I said, but I will be putting it in mine. I can't brush it out. And he was. Because he was trying to tell me we were going to get some kind of a thing and not put the toilet paper in the toilet. And I know there are some people that do that because maybe they have drainage problems or whatever. But until we have that problem, I want to put it in the toilet, because I had to do that last week. Put my papers in a separate little bag. Yeah, and tie it off. And then had to get rid of it, dispose of it. And, yeah, wasn't fun. Wasn't fun at all. Have any of you experienced a lovely plumbing problem like that? I'm sure you have. And at the time, it really isn't funny. But I can look... Oh, there's another part I forgot to tell. That is extremely funny. It was funny to me at the time, and it's still funny. Jerry had taken the commode off and set it to the side, and there's still water in the bowl. Well, we had the wet vac. I had just went and borrowed it from my brother, and I hooked it up, and he put it down into the bowl of the toilet. Okay, he's got it held, and he said, okay, flip it on. He flipped it on. I put it on the wrong end. I put it on the blow end. Yeah, went into the blow stuff out. I immediately turned it off, but I was trying not to laugh my head off, but it was really hard. Water spewed so high up. It went all the way up to his head, but it was clean water. I don't think it got in his face or anything. There was water just, I mean, it looked like a geyser. Old Faithful. I can still see it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know there were two ends. I don't play with those wet vacs. I didn't know. Well, to say the least, I got it on the right end. than when I did it then, and it sucked it right on out. Yeah, I had no idea that they had a suck in and a blowout end, but I do now. Will I remember which end it is? Probably not. Jerry better look real careful in case we have any more problems like that. But I might as well laugh. And he didn't get mad at me or anything. He said, you put it in the wrong hole. I said, I didn't know there were two. So he didn't get mad at me. He's a good guy. Anyway, I guess if it had been full of urine and poopy, yeah, it also been all over the floor. Oh, that would have been, ugh. I think I would have told him, take that commode out into the yard. I'm not doing it in here. But everything's fixed right now. All we need to do is where that crooked drain plug was, we need to put one that has a T on it. One on each end, so that they can suck it from there. But it's not something that has to be done. But, I mean, we could still dig out the septic tank under the carport again. But I told Jerry, I said, you know, we're going to be getting older. I don't know about digging that thing out. So that was our fun plumbing fiasco. Wasn't fun at the time. I had a hard time sleeping at night. It was just like, oh, I know I can't go poop during the night. You better hold it in. And, yeah, it was a very stressful week. The whole week was stressful, and there was no way I was going to be able to do a live. And this week I'm still trying to get things kind of back in order and replace some things. So I hope I can do a live next week. I've had several people say they would enjoy that. And I appreciate the people who did comment when I made that post about having plumbing problems and saying that you were thinking about us and praying for us. I tell you what, it really helped. We made it. We made it. And we are still married. Well, we've been married a long time, so that would be kind of stupid. Not be over something like that. We've been married for 36 years. It'll be 37 years in August. And we dated for 5 years. And I told you the story about how he did not propose to me in another video, so if you've watched that one, you've seen it. I don't want to go through it again because I have some people who watch my diamond paints and chatting, or I guess I should call this story time because it's always about some little story that has happened, whether it was a long time ago or just recently. I'm telling you what. Oh, and my friend Dearly Crafted has challenged me to the peel-off mask challenge, which I hope to do, if not this week, next week. I can finally also show my new frog. I'll probably do that as my next video, because I can't wait to see them. They're all special diamonds. I'm excited. Because between working on some of the bigger ones that I do, sometimes it's fun to just crack open a small one and work on that for a while. And you have the satisfaction of getting finished quickly. Anyway, you saw me doing my checkerboard. I don't have it as close as I did the other day when I was doing it. So I'm not sure if you saw it, could see it as well, but you can always go back and look at that one. I wanted to have a little bit more space to work when I was doing this. And look, the shine is so pretty. Yes, very pretty. What are you guys working on? I know I have some crochet that I want to do. I have had someone ask me, well, I've had more than one person ask me to do a video on how to make a twiddle muff. So I will be doing a crochet video hopefully in the next week or two. I have got to figure out exactly how I'm going to do that, because I've done it and sometimes it's hard. I guess I can use this. Well, my camera I can turn off and on. I'm doing this on my webcam, and I just leave it running because I don't want to have to splice all that together. It's easier to splice it from my regular camera. Well, it's just that I make these longer, I guess. It wouldn't be that difficult to splice, but I like doing this way. And the other, I think I can get a better close-up of my hands. Okay, and someone else, I was using my tips of my tweezers to open this. Someone else mentioned they use their 3-placer. Well, you just stick that hole right there and it opens. Okay, make me a liar. It opens right up. Well, the reason it didn't is because I had my finger on it. Okay. And there it does. It opens right up. Because this fingernail, for some reason, does not want to grow. The other ones are doing just fine, but I don't open things with that one. I've got to stop doing that. I'm not sure how long I have even been talking, but I'm sure longer than you want to listen to. A lot of you probably have already turned this off and said, okay, enough of that. Okay, see, I got a piece of wax that just crumbled out of there, so I'm going to get it off. And you can get it off with tweezers, your fingers, whatever you need to use. There it goes. Came right on off with these sharp little tweezers. I keep tweezers and things around just for whatever I need. Let me get me a little drink. I've mixed something with my water. It's called Stura, and it's sweetened with stevia. So this is, I think, fruit punch flavor. And just a little bit of taste, no calories, doesn't have any artificial sweeteners, so I really like it. I was using Crystal Light all the time, and I got to thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't be using the artificial sweetener all the time, so that's why I decided to get something different, and I found those. That one's pretty good. The fruit punch is good. I like the orange mango. It's probably my favorite, but I like orange anyway. If you don't like orange, you might not like it. Well, I picked up the wrong one. This is the one I've got empty. Sometimes I just use that to straighten it out. I'm just going through here and just setting them down. I have found, and I mentioned this in my other one, it's relaxing to watch somebody do this. It's relaxing for me to watch myself do it because I'm looking at it. But if, you're feeling kind of stressed, sometimes it's kind of nice just to watch somebody else doing these. Oh, and I also want to do some coloring. I need to get back into that. And if you haven't watched Julie Crafted, go check her channel out. She's getting into doing some art. She does diamond painting also. And she does drawing. I used to do oil painting, acrylic painting, pastels. One day I'll show you, the pieces of art that I have left. I had given a lot away, and some of them were lost in the move. We've moved a couple of times, and I blame it on my husband because he went and cleared out one of our buildings, and I think he threw the cabinet that I had them stored in. Just threw it away. Didn't think we needed it anymore. Didn't look in it. Nothing. But no use crying over spilt milk or throwing away art. I need to get back to doing that. It's really, how many of you out there draw or color or paint or do things like that? How many of you crochet? How many of you knit? I have not tried knitting yet. That's one thing I want to try one day, but I just haven't really been in the mood like I just really have to do it. I've got so many other things that I'm doing now that I'm enjoying this. But I have a friend having a baby, so I want to make some things for the baby. So I'm going to be pulling my crochet out. I still crochet off and on, but I get into this and it's just so relaxing. Crocheting is relaxing too once you get started on your project. As long as it's not a difficult piece that you have to keep changing the pattern of. And most of the time it's not. And I used to do a lot of twiddle muffs, which I said I was going to do I'll do a tutorial on how to make one. I haven't made one in a while. I have one started, but I never did get back to it. You know how it is, you get started on something else. It's like, oh, there's a rabbit. Let me go chase after that one instead. Oh, I did finish my wolf for my nieto, Isaac. And I will be doing a kind of, it was from Diamond Art Club, just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece that I will kind of do a review and a framing of that one. I already have the frame, so I plan on doing that one pretty soon so I can give it to Isaac. He's excited. He has seen it. I was almost finished with it last weekend, and now it is done. I stayed up till midnight one night and thinking, I'm finishing it. And I did. And it's gorgeous. Right now, I have it under my mattress to kind of flatten everything out and make it nice and smooth. And what could be better than to put my big behind on top of it? I have it between in a cardboard thing, and so it's protected so the drills won't come loose. And I am framing it in a black frame. I've already got that. So I have that, and I have my new frogs that I'm going to show. So I've had several things I have been wanting to do videos of, but sometimes life gets in the way. And sometimes you just can't get done what you need to do. Well, you do what you've got to do, but sometimes we don't get to the things we want to do. And I want to do several things. So let me know if there's anything you're interested in me showing. I've had some say that they would like for me to do a refresher diamond tips and tricks video, as I have learned things as my journey has progressed. Trust me. You learn as you do. So you can watch people and you can learn some from their mistakes, but believe me, you're going to make mistakes. Like the time I got paper all over my canvas. That's been months ago. But I figured it out. I just did it on my own. I didn't even think about looking to see if anyone had a thing. And I did it on my channel, but it was part of a long one. It was when I was kitting up my custom. Yeah, my beautiful custom. And I got it off. And I wanted to make sure they weren't going to come off. It was a present for my daughter for Christmas. I set each one of those drills on individually, and what I did was I bought super glue that has the brush on the end of it, and I'd take my pen just like this, pick it up, I'd just brush the bottom of it with that super glue and set it down. It never moved again. And yes, it was I was scared to death that I had ruined the whole thing, but I didn't. It stayed safe and secure. Nothing. It's She has it hanging over her fireplace. It's beautiful. It's one I did of her dogs, and I have in some of my older videos, though. You can actually do a search on people's channels. If you go to their main page, there's a place that has search on there, and if you want to look up like framing, you could type in framing, because that would be a word that might be in the title or in my description, and it would pull up the framing videos. Custom diamond painting or whatever, crochet, because I have different things out there. So you can do that on anyone's channel, not just mine. I'm not special. I'm not special, just have that on my channel. But that's what I do on some people's channels. There's something that I want to really interested in looking at, then I will do a search within their channel. Not up in the big bar at the top. It's kind of over to the side on the main page. You'd have to go to my GB Maltese main page, and there's a little search bar over here where you can search for things. Maybe I should do a video showing how to do that, because I didn't realize that for the longest. I think I don't even remember. I've seen a couple of different people, because I do watch some things on skincare and a little bit of makeup. I'm not a real, I will wear some makeup, just not tons of it. I'm more into skincare, because you got to take care of the canvas on that, which is your face. Okay, I think I have gnawed on your ear long enough, and let me know if there's anything special you would like me to talk about or to do a video of, a tutorial. And if I can do it, I will do it. If I'm not sure if I'd make a mess out of it, I might have to say, I'm sorry. But I have had people contact me either under my video, or I'm gbmaltese86 at gmail.com email. I've had some people email me. So if you want to contact me about something, feel free. I guess I should just put my email address at the bottom for people who might want to tell me something. And I have had a few nasty comments, but you know, I figure well, maybe it made them feel better. And depending on my day, because someone did make a comment last week that I found to be quite rude, and I did say something back. I mean, I didn't cuss, didn't say anything ugly, and then they said something back again, and I'm like, this is just childish. I just took all the comments off, because I'm like, I don't want to, not going to get into this. I just took it off and said, whatever. You know, some people just, I guess, are unhappy. So, anyway, I'm going to let you go. If you're interested in looking at these diamond painting pens, like I said, there are several groups on Facebook that you can go to. Just type in your search engine on Facebook, handmade diamond painting pens, and there will be some that come up. These right here were made by Handmade Diamond Painting Pens, was the name of the group. You have to wait a long time for theirs. I've joined a couple of other groups. I haven't ordered anything from them yet. I'm waiting to see how long it's going to take. One of the groups, the man has had gallbladder surgery, and he's not able to do his work right now. And the other one, I had put my number down, but that's only been maybe 2 or 3 days. And we'll see. I'm going to wait and see how long it takes for my number to come up. On the other group, it would take maybe 2 months before your number even was picked. So I'm just trying to find some other places. I mean, I don't need a whole bunch of these, but I might do one for like a giveaway or something one day. Because they really are comfortable. And I will put it on a video where I don't mention giveaway, because, hey, I want my people who are loyal to me, you know, that really, I think of you guys as friends, family even. So, you guys take care. I'm going to go. You have a blessed day. I hope that you don't have any plumbing problems ever. You take care, guys. I love you. Bye.